Hello there, world of tankers, and welcome to the channel. I'm your host, Blitz, and in today's video, I will be reviewing the Rammer, which is a brand new Blitz Nation Tier 7 Heavy. And while this vehicle may look very exciting, do not let that fool you. This might just be the worst Tier 7 Heavy in the game. Why am I jumping to that conclusion? Well, it's pretty simple. We are going to make our way starting over to the armor profile. I want you to keep in mind that this is a Tier 7 Heavy, right? Lower plate, 87 millimeters effective. Upper plate, 74 millimeters effective. At any angle, the upper and lower plate are basically a penetration. But don't worry, if you over-angle the tank, now you can shoot it at the sides. This is barely even a degree. Like, it's 15 degrees. Look at how little the turret is angled, and that is already a pen on the side armor of this tank. That's because the vehicle only has 65 millimeters of side armor. Yeah, that's pretty bad. Okay, how about the turret? Well, the cheeks are 116 millimeters thick. Okay, how about the mantlet? Well, if you load gold, you only need about 220 millimeters to cut through the mantlet of this tank. It's also got a roof weak spot, which is only about 110 as well. Okay, the back is 45, and the back of the turret's only about 50. Wow, this is the biggest hunk of junk I've ever seen. Now you might say, wait a second, what about the gun? Maybe it's got a really good gun. Well, think again. The gun does have decent damage per shot at 350, and its penetration isn't bad at 230 on the premium with 190 on the standard running calibrated, but the DPM is only 1900, and its dispersion is pretty mid at 0.344. My question to you is, why would you ever drive this tank when there are so many better options? A Lycan is a great example. The Lycan has literally so much more armor on the entire tank. And a great example to show this is making our way over to Blitzkit. We can take a look at armor inspection. And we can see the whole list of vehicles here, right? Here's the Lycan. So let's take a look at the Lycan's armor in comparison, okay? Upper plate is 245 on flat. 245 on flat, okay. Turret, the cheeks are about 200-ish, 230, 240 millimeters. Even loading gold, as you can see, it's got pretty troll armor for the most part. Like, yes, it has weak spots, but its upper plate is super strong. Not only that, the Lycan features 10 degrees of gun depression and much better mobility. The Lycan reaches a top speed of 35 with a power to weight of 16.6. It's got high alpha and, well, basically the same damage per minute as a tank that, well, just is pretty dang mid. And by the way, if you were wondering if the tank's mobile, it's not. It goes 34. It's got a good power to weight, and it weighs a lot at 73 tons. It's called the Rammer. Who are you going to ram, bruh? You go 34. I mean, the mouse is decent at ramming because the tank weighs 188 tons, and you can slightly tap people, and you'll take like 100 HP off. This tank can't really do that. Again, especially when you have literally no armor. This is a great example of a vehicle that I could have easily told Wargaming needed a buff. In fact, I did. I made a video reviewing its stats before it was released, and I said that this tank looks like absolute dookie balls. And in return, well, I mean, I didn't really tell Wargaming, but I made a video sharing my opinions on the vehicle. And to what I've been told, the devs do watch my videos occasionally. So I don't know what to say, man. I mean, I literally said multiple times that this tank looks really mid. And it is really mid. I don't understand how you can make a Tier 7 Heavy that weighs 75 tons, only goes 34 with mediocre DPM, that features a turret that has no armor, a hull that has no armor, sides that has no armor, and the largest hatch I've ever seen. Now, to be fair, I might do well in the vehicle. Just because I'm complaining right now doesn't mean I'm going to do bad in the tank. It's Tier 7 after all. But my question to you is, why would you drive this when a T-29 exists on the tech tree? Like, that's really my question for you. Oh, here we go, finally loading into a battle. This is a pretty good matchup with Tier 7s and 6s up against us. I'm going to test just how effective this armor is live for you. Also, let me set it to Blitz instead of display capture. That way my mouse or, you know, something doesn't pop up on screen. Alright, so we got a stock VK36. That's not great, but we are going to be making our way over to the medium flank. Now, what you will notice is that acceleration-wise, pretty quick. like, this tank really quickly accelerates up to 34. The problem is it doesn't go any faster than 34, so it's not like you're really getting anywhere too quick, as we can see. You know, it kind of gives me super heavy vibes without any of the armor, so, kind of like a 114 SP2 down in tier 7. Alright, well, we'll see what we can do. I do like the alpha. I mean, 350 damage per shot to me is actually a pretty juicer, but its on-movement dispersion does not seem to be anything impressive. I will tell you that right now. And let's wiggle. Okay, the Kunstpanzer doesn't shoot me. We're going to try and maneuver as quickly as possible over to the action. I have no clue what this Kunstpanzer is doing, bruh. Well, let's aim in and... well, we hit him. Not bad. 336. Pretty good start. You can see that this turret is also freaking massive, and it's all a hitbox, so... yeah. Ooh, we actually got a bounce there on the back, though, so I guess that's pretty expected. We got the Magnate. There you go. Nice. Bro, where did we get pens? Yeah, this is kind of what I expected from the vehicle, which is non-existent armor. I'm just going to push out here. I want to see if we will get bounces. However, I don't think it's going to matter as we get the kill. So that's kind of over. I am a little interested in where that Magnate actually penned me, but basically what we're going to do in this game is just YOLO. That's the whole plan. Because I want to test this armor. But it looks like in this game, specifically, the enemy team is already kind of dead, as we can see. Oh, but we got some vehicles in front of us here. Good, this will be a perfect test. Alright, let's aim it on the Yo. And aiming time's not awful, I will say that. There you go, good example of the damage per shot. Thing kind of chunks. I mean, 350 is a pretty good little juicer. Let's reload again, and... goes high, unfortunate. Okay, well, I am really interested to see if, like, the Object 244, the IS, just shoots right through my hull. It'd be great if they would aim at me, though. Come on, shoot at my hull. Yeah, there you go. Okay, I mean, again, not too surprising. Let me see if I angle it out like this. Well, I was going to say if the Yo would be able to cut through me. This 244 has no clue how to aim, bruh. I think he's shooting my turret. I don't even know what he's shooting, but the hull clearly has not gotten me too many bounces so far. Alright, let's just angle it and see if we can get a bounce. Oh, that hurt me. Oh, at that angle he went through me. Wow. Yeah, that's pretty sad. I'm not gonna lie. That's pretty sad. I mean, we're gonna win, obviously, and I kind of YOLO just to see how the armor would work. But, yeah, it's about what I expected. You know, sometimes I think maybe Wargaming will buff a tank before it's released to make it a little bit better, and, that really just doesn't seem to be the case here. I mean, the IS just went through our turret like the armor didn't even exist, and that's pretty sad when you really think about it. I also do find it a little bit funny that the vehicle is named Rammer, yet you really can't ram anything. We barely outrammed the enemy IS. I think we took 70 health off of him, and he took 50 off of us. Like, it's kind of goofy. We did alright. 2,300 damage is not a bad result at the end of the day. But I really just wanted to test the armor. And as we saw in that first battle, it didn't really work. That's the best way to word it. And by the way, we're fighting tier 7s and we're not getting bounces. I want you to imagine what this armor's like when fighting tier 8s. Alright, here we are on another game, and this one is Copperfield. This is actually a decent map to kind of test the armor of this tank because... oh my god, bruh. Where did even... oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. Well, I think we're starting to get into the thick of it here, ladies and gents. Let's see, can we get a bounce from the Yo? Oh, well, we can't pen the Yo. That's a little bit of a bummer. Alright, well, we got the Tankenstein kind of YOLOing up here, and... let's aim it on his lower plate. There you go, our first pen of the game. Oh yeah, we're so good. The enemy doesn't even know what to do. Well, I can tell you that the DPM on this vehicle is pretty tragic. We got the IS on the flank, we got the Hellcat, and ooh, 428 little juicer. Oh man, this armor though, it's just like, alright, come on, angle, angle, angle. We're gonna get a bounce. Wow. I don't know what to say, really. My disappointment is a little bit immeasurable right now. Oh, we're going to get YOLO'd by the Tankenstein. Don't worry, we'll get a bounce. I don't think we got a bounce the entire game. Wow. You know, like, obviously I played like an ape this battle, but I think I really just wanted to showcase the armor on this tank. Like, seriously, I don't understand it. It's a frontline heavy that has the armor of like a piece of paper. I've never seen this in my life. Also, does our team not realize that the base is being capped? Like, I'm so confused, man. We blocked 0 damage that game. From the entire battle, we blocked 0 damage. The reason I kind of wanted to test that is because, you know, sometimes Armor Inspector can be a little off, and as I mentioned, Wargaming could be buffing the armor. So I played real aggressive there, just to kind of test the armor and see if we would get any bounces. And no, we literally got none. I'm 100% confident if I was in any other Tier 7 heavy, like a T29 in that situation, not only would we have gotten bounces, but that game would have been the easiest one of my life, and probably a 3,000+ damage farm, because you get more gun depression, a much better turret, a much better profile, basically the same mobility. Wow. Disappointment is immeasurable for this tank, I gotta be honest. Like, as you guys know, I'm usually the kind of person that's very upbeat when I do my reviews. Like, even the 114 SP2, which is a pretty mid vehicle, when it first came out, I still, you know, ranked it as, like, a decent heavy as long as you knew what you're doing. But this... Oof, I'm sorry. I can't Wargaming. I can't call this tank good. It's not. It's average at best, and that is best. Because this really reminds me of the Vulcan. You know, the Vulcan is a Tier 7 Blitz Nation heavy. And it's got very similar characteristics. 350 damage per shot, except it's faster. And not only is it faster, but it has 300 more hit points. But it's got a very similar gun. And at that point, why would you ever drive this tank when the Vulcan exists? I mean, the Vulcan's known as one of the most mediocre Tier 7s, and yet the Vulcan's stats are quite a bit better on paper than this vehicle, so I don't know what to say. I mean, the turret alone on this vehicle is freaking huge, and having a turret this large sucks. Alright, let's test the armor again. We're going to drive over. Oh, we actually, well, he just kind of fired HEs. That doesn't really mean anything. Something else shot us, a Jagdpanzer IV in the back, yeah. Alright, well... I don't know. I should probably stop testing the armor on this. I mean, look at that! What is that, bro? The hatch is freaking huge! How did Wargaming seriously think that this was a good idea? Wow. Okay, and then they got a camping KV-1S. Well, we aren't Tier 7 after all. Gee, guys, let's test the armor. Maybe we'll get a bounce. Oh, he missed. Well, that's better than a bounce, because if he had hit me, he probably would have killed me. Well, in the first 10 seconds of the game, we're down to 230 health. It's pretty impressive, actually. I don't think people can get on my level. Alright, well, we got the silencer, and twah! Nice 364 shell. Oh, I don't want to die. Our Eagle 7 kind of struggled to roll around that corner there, which kind of put me in an awkward situation. Alright, the enemy team has 2 tanks left. They got a KV-1S and a Tiger. So let's push the KV to begin with, and never mind, he's dead. Alright, let's push the Tiger. This is where that amazing mobility comes through. Look at this incredible speed of the tank. Oh yeah, 395. Well, again, we didn't do an awful result. We ended up dealing upwards of a... Oh, let's try and ram him. There you go. We got a ram out. That wasn't awful. See? The tank can do one thing. It can ram something. There you go. Oof, I don't know what to say. I really don't. I'm not going to call it good, though, because it's not good. We did 2,500 damage, which I guess is an okay result. But again, that armor is just tragic. The moment you fight Tier 8s, it's going to be even worse, man. As I said, the Vulcan exists, and the Vulcan's, it's quite a bit smaller if you actually look at the size. And not only that, but take a look at the gun on the Vulcan. Let's run the same equipment. First of all, pen-wise, almost identical. 231 on the premium, 194. So it is slightly more standard pen, same premium pen, and the same high explosive pen, right? You look at the guns, and the HE is a little worse on the Vulcan, but the rest of the vehicle has basically the same characteristics with similar DPM. Here's the difference. The Vulcan has 1,716 hit points, and the Vulcan actually has decent armor. Let's do a quick game of the Vulcan, and let's compare the experiences that I just had in the Rammer to this vehicle. I don't even see a world where anybody would want to drive the Rammer. I guess to ram people. But when you have other options like the Gravedigger available, which also weighs basically the same amount with similar mobility, you basically can do the exact same thing in a Gravedigger with better armor, better really everything. Alright, here we go. Time to see what we can do in a vehicle that was released 5 years ago compared to a brand new premium. I'm really interested. Well, first of all, we can see that the Vulcan is quite a bit faster. It reaches a top speed closer to 36 rather than 34. And by the way, the power to weight is pretty good as well. We'll notice that right here. As I mentioned, the Vulcan is also quite a bit smaller. It's definitely like the same height, but it's quite a bit smaller. The turret is about half the size and half the height, and in general, the Vulcan is just not nearly as large of a vehicle. We're making our way over to the medium flank. We got the Bulldog YOLOing out, and we shoot at the Bulldog. Look at that, we get bounces! Have you ever heard of that? Bounces? I haven't. Oh, look, another bounce! I wonder if the Rammer would be getting these bounces. Look, another bounce! Isn't that crazy? Whoa, another bounce! Whoa! What an absolutely preposterous thing to try and get. Bounces in a tier 7 heavy? Whoa! He's actually shooting HE. This guy has no clue what to do at this point. And see ya! Well, there goes the Bulldog. And by the way, those bounces were on my flat hull, as you can see. It's not like he was aiming awful. Like, bro just clearly didn't know what to do, and he actually gave up and started firing high explosive. Ooh, nice juicer into the rear of the Lycan. And just like that, we have won this game. What a challenging battle. You know how much effort I needed to put in to win this? Well, I'm going to even, well, you know, let's just ram him. See ya! Wow, this is actually a fun tank for me, and what's funny, as I mentioned before, is this is a vehicle that's been released for literally 5 years, and been power crept like crazy. Like, if you were to ask anybody their feelings on this tank, they'd tell you it's like the most mediocre, kind of bottom tier heavy. And yet, this bottom tier heavy is much more enjoyable than a brand new tank, which is going to be sold for money. That's crazy to me. That's just absolutely insane. So, if you want to have fun at a discounted price, get your hands on the Vulcan, because while this tank may not be anything impressive, it's definitely a whole lot better than what Wargaming is going to be selling. So, what do we have? Well, the silencer is all the way in the back, and what I'm kind of hoping is that... Nah. Really hoping we could get a shell out into him. Yeet! There you go. Nice high explosive shell clearing that player. We got a Hellcat in front of us. Now, the Hellcat probably won't bounce us too much, because that vehicle does have pretty good levels of pen. But we're going to aim it on the silencer. There you go. Nice shot. By the way, something else to remember is that this vehicle has 1,700 hit points instead of the 1,400 that the Rammer features. So, really, there's almost no world that the Rammer would ever win an engagement against this tank. So, we have the Hellcat, and, well, he's getting shot at a bit. Up the hill we go, up the hill we go. I don't know how much gun depression this tank has. It's not a lot, but it's enough. And bonk, there you go. So, yeah, that was a pretty easy game. Personally, I had a lot more fun in this tank, and I think that my armor worked a lot better than it probably would have in the Rammer. I mean, it's just really disappointing if you ask me. It really is. All Wargaming needed to do was make the hull on this tank good if they wanted to leave the turret weak, or make the turret strong and make the hull a little bit stronger. But man, this is the most poorly balanced tier 7 I've seen in a while. It's kind of a pile of trash, I'm going to be completely real. It's not the worst tank ever. I think I could muster up, like, tier 7s that are probably worse. You know, like the Y5 ELC is probably on par, but judging that this is a tank that Wargaming gives away for free is kind of like a gimmick. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think, but I'm actually really disappointed in this heavy. It was something I was excited for when I saw it in the trailers and everything, and then I got to play it, and I was just womp womp. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.